Hello everyone, welcome back to the SATAMonkeys podcast. I'm your host, Earth the Fatt, and today I'm joined by Bear Speak, or Small Boy Bear, or Rob.
Hello.
Charles, or Clubbed Penguin, whatever the fuck your name is now.
Yeah.
Melon Rap, or Melon Rap.
Hello there.
And Rhyneeks, or Epic Man 253956, or Ryan.
Hello.
We have some very interesting topics today and some very, very boring topics today. Specifically the AMD and Nvidia keynotes, not in that order. Unfortunately, Zaire couldn't make it last second, but he will be here next time. What the fuck was that?
That was nice.
We're still getting used to TeamSpeak and whatever the fuck these noises are. I don't like them. Not a fan. So our first story here is from CNET. Rollable and foldable phones give us something to look forward to in tech. It essentially just goes over a lot of the phone tech revealed at CES, it looks like. I've read this through, and they didn't show almost any images, and I wasn't going to open like 20 tabs with all the different links they had, so I just kind of looked through, but I don't know, it seems cool. I wonder, do you guys remember the CES drama, like, last year with the sex toy?
No? What?
What?
No.
So I think it was I forget what year it started, but one year CES was like they didn't have rules against like sex toy innovations. So someone tried to like bring like an innovative sex toy to CES and show it off, and they said no, and they called out CES for it. And like the next year they said, okay, fine, we'll allow them. And at like the last second in for the last CES, they said no, actually we're not going to. So I don't know if that changed, and maybe I got a few details there wrong, but like that's essentially what happened. So I wonder if there was any sex toy reveals at CES this year, if they are still banned or not banned.
Apparently, I looked it up. The best sex toys in tech at CES 2020, January 11th, 2020. So yes, they are.
Now, well, that's 2020. I wonder about this year's though.
I'm an idiot. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Where are the sex toys?
What the fuck?
But I gotta say, looking at this is very, very interesting.
Yeah. Whoever's ringing the bell, can you not ring the bell, by the way? All I hear is bing every like 20 seconds.
I really hope children don't watch our podcast. But anyways.
Yeah, we should start off with talking about fucking sex toys. So yeah, I don't know. There should be more innovative stuff coming from CES, but the two big companies, which again we'll get to, that should have unveiled really cool shit at CES unveiled practically fucking nothing. We'll get to that. But first we gotta get to our next story, which is another CES unveiling by Razer. Razer unveils smart N95 face mask with RGB lighting and voice amplification. Now, it's important to note here that they don't state this in the title, and they kind of should, considering the title says it's a smart N95 face mask. It's not certified as a surgical N95 respirator. Razer does not have that certification yet for the mask. So why they just take Razer's word for it and not state that, I don't know, because they state it later in the article that it's not actually certified yet. That's kind of misleading. But essentially, Razer has made one of those fucking masks where they have like the plastic front and they like form really close to your face. They've made one of those, and it has speakers and a microphone and RGB and filters and all this other shit, and it looks like a fucking futuristic Darth Vader mask. I don't know what
Or a futuristic gas mask for like the nuclear winter or whatever.
True. It reminds me of
gas mask for gamers.
I really hope they make them in olive drab. That would be an aesthetic.
It reminds me of the fact that I didn't start the splits. That's what it reminds me of. So we're gonna fuck whatever, dude. I'm not gonna start them. It reminds me of the Batman Arkham Knight skin of Batman Beyond. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It has that type of face mask. It's like not with the things on the side, but it reminds me a lot of that. With just like the plastic front. Although I think the nose piece looks really, really fucking stupid. I don't like how that look, like the silicone thing that goes over your nose. I think that looks really fucking dumb. That may just be my opinion though. But yeah, these are interesting. They have what the fuck is this? Razer Chroma or whatever the fuck RGB. They're like Razer's RGB integration, which makes me wonder what the fuck they're thinking. If they're putting it in the same line,
Wait.
if they're putting it in the same line as that, it means it works with your Razer PC RGB lighting. Why in the world would you care about syncing your face mask's RGB lighting to your fucking computer?
The only thing I can think of is like streaming, but that like.
You know, we stream with my face mask on.
Yeah, like literally, fucking like. All right, let's get this done.
Yeah, you know, just
Go!
It's gonna be a mic with speakers that amplifies your voice, but I doubt it's gonna be a great mic or great speakers.
It's gonna sound
yeah,
exactly like how I was speaking.
Yeah, it's gonna sound like probably not great.
Or you're talking in a can.
Yeah, I don't know what they were going for here. Apparently, they also unveiled, and they mentioned it briefly in this article, a gaming chair with a wraparound OLED display, and they showed a photo of it, and it looks clearly like a rendered prototype and not an actual product. I haven't looked that up. We're not covering that, but I'd be surprised if it was an actual fucking product, because it doesn't look like it. It does, though, look like they're playing Titanfall 2 on it. It looks like it. I don't know. I've never been I've never been a big fan of Razer. I think they're just kind of overpriced garbage. Yeah. I don't see the appeal.
Same.
I don't get it.
know. It's just it seems like they go way too overboard. And you're not a gamer if you don't have Razer. Like,
yeah, I have a friend who bought a Razer backpack for like $140. It's like
RGB.
No, it's not RGB. But it's like.
Did his name start with X?
Yes, it's the same person we're thinking
yeah.
of. You know, I didn't have the heart to tell him this, but like, dude, I bought my giant fucking mailbag from LL Bean. That's so much bigger, has so much more space, is much more useful, and doesn't have a fucking like huge name brand on it. Even though LL Bean is kind of a huge name brand.
A Razer keyboard and mouse and all of that, like mouse pad too, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've never understood, especially with a mouse pad. Like, dude, why? I do not understand why people still buy fabric mouse pads.
Yeah, power your freaking mouse pad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh yeah, the mouse pads with the fucking RGB, like, around the
that's
fabric.
What he had.
Oof. Well, I'm not just talking about him. I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking
RGB
yeah, I know.
mouse pads.
I mean, just in general here, I don't understand the appeal, especially with mouse pads. Why don't people just get a ceramic mouse pad? That solves.
I don't have one. I have the mouse pad from the very first computer we've ever gotten.
Nice.
I think like mold's growing in it, but I still use it, so.
I have this metal one I got from Zalman's. I don't think you can buy it anymore because it seemed like it was just new old stock because it never sold, and it looks like they eventually ran out.
Have you guys ever heard of Alsop?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, that's my mouse pad though. Yeah.
Nice. I used to run this like old Mickey Mouse mouse pad my dad used to have before it pretty much disintegrated. It had been, used for like 20 something years. And
this mouse pad's still going strong.
I did have like a year 2000 mouse pad as well, like a calendar.
Dirty,
it was cool.
But it's kind of like creasing.
The only reason I haven't gotten a ceramic mouse pad for my mouse is the G502 does not play well with glass. It's one of the few downsides of this mouse. Even the newer models, I have the Proto Spectrum, but there are like 2 or 3 newer models, and they don't play nice with it either. Most Logitech mice don't, but there are a lot of mice that play fine with ceramic mouse pads, and they're arguably the best experience because you're not going to scratch anything. It's ceramic, and the glide is amazing. On my metal one, it's already really fucking good. And the only issue I've had with my metal mouse pad is just discoloration from my hand sitting, right on a specific point of it over time.
Yeah, that's what mine has right now. I washed it like a while ago, but
yeah, there's paint missing from mine, clearly, and I'm fine with it honestly, because I don't. It's where my hand sits, and then there's a bit below where my mouse normally sits, which again is fine. It's just metal and a bit, paint. The paint is gonna come off over time anyways. I don't care, but it's blasted and it's great. And this mouse pad was $20 fucking. The only thing that could make it better is if it was wider. And I couldn't find a wider version sold. But guys, if you want the same experience, grab your fucking old iPad and use the back of your iPad, or the front of it if you have a mouse that can glide on glass. Because that honestly is also a great experience. You can get a fucking an old ass iPad for like $20, like a really old one. There you go, new mouse pad.
No.
I don't know. What do you mean no?
What?
Oh, you said no.
He's not muting.
Oh well.
Oh,
Talking off screen, so.
all right. But yeah, I don't know. I've never understood the appeal of mouse pads, let alone Razer mouse pads. But it just goes back to the thing that it just goes back to the thing that people you can't trust one brand. You can't put all your trust in one brand. It's just like how Apple users are loyal to Apple or loyal to Apple. Or in this case, how Razer users are loyal to Razer, and shit like that. I'm not like I love my OnePlus 5T, but I'm not loyal to them. My next phone will probably be from them because they made a phone, the 7T Pro, which I've already talked about, and I won't talk about it fucking again because I've talked about it at least for 45 minutes on this podcast. But the only reason I'm getting another one is just because that's the only phone like it. That works in the US. There's a Oppo phone that's also like it, but it only works in other countries. But I wouldn't recommend buying OnePlus's recent phones because price to performance, there's better options. And OnePlus's cameras suck. And they try and position their phones for cameras, and they suck. But just don't be loyal to one brand. But going back to the mask here, I hope they actually get the fucking mask N95 certified before they try and sell it, because there's going to be some issues if they don't. But it looks interesting. I don't know. I don't want to write the mask off yet, the Razer mask, but...
Like I said, olive drab.
Yeah. We'll move on to our next topic here, which is actually really fucking cool. New Indiana Jones game has been announced by Bethesda. This is from Comic Book Gaming. I have to do it every time because it's such a stupid name. Bethesda Machine Games are working on an Indiana Jones game according to the teaser released on Tuesday. Brief video shared on social media, showed a desk cluttered with all sorts of journals, blah blah blah. New Indiana Jones game. I thought the latest Indiana Jones game prior was Lego Indiana Jones 2, but Rob, didn't you say there was a newer one released than that?
Yeah, there was one released on the Xbox and PS2 in 2003, although I'm not sure when the Lego one was released. Like, what I'm talking about is the, like, non-Lego.
Oh, the Lego Indiana Jones 2 is released in 2009. So
yeah, but the last non-Lego Indiana Jones that we had was in 2003 on the PS2 and Xbox 360 and PC.
What were the reviews for it?
Oh god, I didn't read up on that. I should have. I'm a bad boy.
Lego Indiana Jones 2 is like 9 out of 10s on Steam, 4.2 out of 5 on GameStop. On GameStop? I thought it was GameSpot. Who reviews games on GameStop? What? Who wastes their time? Whatever. I remember that game very fondly. I really enjoyed it. It was probably the Lego game I enjoyed the most before Lego Batman 2. If I'm like being honest, I really liked it. So, I mean, the only relation an Indiana Jones game has is the fact that it's Indiana Jones and the Lego game is also Indiana Jones. But I'm looking forward to it. Bethesda, like, they re-released the same game, then they released Fallout 76, which is shit, and then they released Doom Eternal, which is amazing. So
yeah,
they really bounce around in quality.
Yeah, they're a toss-up. So.
And then there are explanations for that. Like, Bethesda themselves made 76, and it was a shit show. And id Software, which is a branch under Bethesda, or technically under ZeniMax, with Bethesda just being the brand that most people know from ZeniMax, so they made it their name brand. But id Software made Doom Eternal. It was amazing. So I don't know. But apparently this is Todd Howard's passion project, an Indiana Jones game. And he presented this whole story he was confident in to Lucasfilm Games, which it just seems really funny to me. I'm just imagining this 30 to 4-year-old guy just walking in and like really intensely explaining his story idea to these representatives. And then just I'm Todd Howard. I don't know. But I only think of Todd Howard as a meme. He's the meme man.
I don't know of anything else about him.
Who's
laughing now?
The meme man. Todd the God Howard. Only rivaled by Todd the God Sorensen, of course. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it as long as it's not shit, but a Todd Howard passion project sounds good. I don't think Fallout 76 was a Todd Howard passion project. It just seemed like a project where Todd Howard was involved. But a Todd Howard passion project sounds like it could be really cool. And also, the bigger thing to talk about here, Lucasfilm Games. We don't have a story explicitly covering this, but we're covering two things related to them in one podcast, so I might as well mention it. They're back. So the timeline of Lucasfilm is, or Lucasfilm's game division goes as the following. Originally, they were actually called Lucasfilm Games. Then they scrapped that name and changed to LucasArts, which released some of the best Star Wars games ever. Along with many other games that were not Star Wars, mind you. Then they laid off, like, everyone from LucasArts, pretty much, and just outsourced it all to EA. And now, apparently, they're called Lucasfilm Games again. But they don't make games in-house. They outsource them still, which is a bit weird. But it's interesting to see that they're announcing their new name, and it's actually their original name. And I haven't seen them acknowledge that it's their original name. It's like someone thought of that and just never checked the company history. That's probably not what happened, but I don't know. I'm excited for it, and we have another story about Lucasfilm Games later. But I'm excited to see what comes of it. What do you guys think?
EA.
This has nothing to do with EA. Great talk, guys. Good talk.
Let's go.
We'll move on to the next topic. Actually, Rob, did you find the reviews for the Indiana Jones game?
I was still looking, but
All right, we'll move on for now. Move on to GTA 5's dumbest meme recreated IRL with the game's actual actors. So CNET, you guys are stupid, by the way. This is actually an amazing meme. Eat fucking shit. Again, I really hope you're not I really hope you've been to middle school if you're watching this podcast. Otherwise, it's just a lot of like swearing and over the top shit that I don't want a toddler to witness. But I don't know how a toddler would find this podcast. GTA 5
I
came out
had
in
trouble finding this podcast. So.
all you have to do is search SATAMonkeys and it's the first result. You have trouble finding the fucking TeamSpeak.
No, I had trouble finding the password for the TeamSpeak.
Just search password in the whatever. I'm still debating whether I'm gonna show the scroll of the article here, or if I'm just gonna show the fucking video, the upload, because it's only like a minute long, but it's also just straight content that they do. But essentially, Slink Johnson and Sean Fantano recreated the famous scene from GTA 5, the Lamar fucking roasts Franklin scene. I want to know how they did this. Like, I actually want, how do you like find both of them and then get them both to reenact the scene for a recording to release on YouTube like that?
I'm thinking they just noticed the popularity and they like, hey homie, you want to do this thing? Okay, and then yeah.
Well, it was released by PlayStation Haven. Let me look at their videos. Let's see who they are, because they were the first to release it. PlayStation Haven literally just seemed to release like reviews and shit of PlayStation games.
Literally, like all of their videos. Within like the last month, they started getting over 1,000, but before that, it just seems to be like middle of the ground in the hundreds. And then they drop the Lamar roast Franklin in real life, and they get 3.4 million views.
Yeah, it's great. They actually seem to have two other videos with Slink Johnson. So not Sean Fantano, but just the guy who plays Lamar, Slink Johnson, comparing GTA 5 to real life. And those are the trailers released for one last week, and then apparently the other one's releasing on the 29th of January. I don't know. This is I actually want to know like how he came to know these people, or maybe this was just the guy behind Lamar the whole time running the channel, which I kind of doubt. I'd have to look into it. And I really haven't. Oh, he has another video with Slink Johnson from a year ago at Comic-Con. So maybe he met him there. I don't know. I'd have to look more into it. Very interesting though that it actually got made. It's really fucking cool to see. It's funny because people were making memes of like the roast in real life, and it was just the guy who plays Lamar roasting someone at like a Comic-Con. But now we actually have a real life reenactment. The only way this could get better is if Rockstar released like the mocap scene, but without any of the animation. It's just like the people in the mocap suits.
Oh.
That's the only way it would get better. Because I guarantee to you, if they do that, someone will
disconnected from your channel.
Oh, someone's gone. I guarantee to you, if they did that, someone's gonna find a way to fuck with it, to like make it its own thing. Looks like Melon left. I don't know where Melon went. God, this meme's gotten out of...
entered your channel.
User entered your channel.
Yeah. Like, I just love how moddable GTA is, so you can, like, change the characters and stuff. Like, it got to the point where it was Franklin's motorcycle roasting him. With
yeah, no, I've seen one of Chop. It's literally
Yeah.
Chop walks around, and then he just starts saying
you
Lamar's
sent me that,
lines.
didn't
Yeah,
you?
I did. It's fun. Oh man, I remember when people just started reposting just like the clip from GTA 5, and they just posted on Instagram as a meme. And then the first one came out. What was it? It was either like the roles were swapped or something like that. And then it just fucking exploded into like Mario doing it, Vegeta doing it. I'm just looking at this thumbnail here. It's out of proportion, but it's great. I love it. I think this meme's on its way out now that we have the real life version, unless Rockstar, which they won't do this, it's Rockstar, but I really want them to release just like the mocap footage. That would be fucking hilarious. Cause someone will find a way to re-mocap it with other shit, but more importantly, it would just be the ultimate real life one. So I don't know, and I don't even know if they would have that footage anymore. They may not. They may just have the animation files, which would still be fine. I think people would still like that. But I doubt Rockstar will get this much support. But it is funny to see. And it wouldn't shock me if at some point Rockstar retweet a tweet of this video on Twitter or something. But yeah. Go check this out. I link all the articles in the description anyways, so definitely go check this meme out if you enjoy it. It's really fucking funny. Now, especially now that it's in real life, it's just kind of that state where you're in awe at the fact that people are this dedicated to the meme that we've got the two original people who played the characters in the video game. What is it now? 8 years ago to reenact a scene they probably filmed 8 or 9 years ago for a game. So that's pretty cool to me. That's dedication. The only unfortunate thing I can think of is Rockstar's gonna be like, yeah, GTA 5 is gonna last another year now with this newfound popularity. But they'll probably do that anyways.
Haircut update.
Yee-yee ass haircut update. So our next story here is one I'm covering solely as a warning to not buy NETGEAR products, because I don't know if have I told the rob a store story on the podcast before?
So.
I think we should just like slightly touch on it.
All right, I'll summarize that story, but I'll talk about the article first. This is from Tech Hive, who I've never ever heard of. NETGEAR is one of the first Wi-Fi 6E routers, the Nighthawk RAXE 500. I don't know what Wi-Fi 6E is yet. Apparently it explains here. I'm dumb. The government opened the 6 gigahertz frequency, so that's 6E.
The government?
Yeah, like the FCC, the U.S. government. They opened. Charles. He lives in Canada, so.
I thought you were talking about like the government controls the radio waves.
Well,
They do.
They do. I mean, yeah, they were controlling 6 gigahertz, but they've opened it. Apparently it's got more 59 non-overlapping channels instead of the 25 non-overlapping for 5 gigahertz. But it's gonna have a shorter range compared to 2.4 gigs, but they don't mention how it will probably also have a shorter range compared to 5 gigahertz. I don't know, it doesn't seem that special to me, honestly. Seems like how there was Cat 6, then Cat 6A, then Cat 6E, then Cat 6B, then Cat 7. Like in terms of Ethernet cables.
Nobody's really gonna use it on the consumer side. Like, I think Linus would get it, and that's it.
Yeah,
And
just
they
the
live in
Linus type
Canada.
groups.
I don't know if they've deregulated 6 gigahertz yet.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
NETGEAR, apparently they have, as much as I hate them, this is kind of cool. They have a router they also unveiled that is both Wi-Fi 6. It's a modem router combo. It's a Wi-Fi 6 router and a DOCSIS 3.1 modem built into one. Not Wi-Fi 6E, mind you, just Wi-Fi 6. But I think that's kind of cool. Netgear, although they make questionable quality routers, in my experience, they make really good quality modems. We're actually running a Netgear DOCSIS 3.1 modem. So I can attest to their quality there. Though I will say that why you would buy their DOCSIS 3.1 modem router combo with Wi-Fi 6 for $600, I don't know, when you can buy a AX6000 from TP-Link for like $349, and then I forget the name of it, but a DOCSIS 3.1 modem from Netgear for $200, and you save $100, and you have a objectively better router and a really fucking good modem. That's the setup I have, so I'm not sure why you'd do that. But I want to give a little PSA here, and I'm going to keep it brief because I swear I've covered this on the podcast before. There was a time where I was trying to prove that Charter Spectrum were intentionally stealing our internet speeds. It was very hard to prove with the TP-Link router we had, especially because it had issues. So I said, all right, here's what we're going to do to prove them wrong. We're going to take some of Spectrum's equipment and test it, and then we're going to go buy the latest and greatest fucking tech and compare it and see what the speeds look like, to see if they're slowing the speeds on their hardware. And this was via Ethernet and Wi-Fi. We did enough tests to prove it. They never deliberately admitted it to us or like intentionally admitted it, but they never denied it after we showed them the proof, which was cool to see that they fucking knew we figured them out. Anyways, originally we bought one of the routers that looks like the title one here. It might have been like the RAX 500, not RAXE or some shit. It looks exactly like that one pretty much though. We bought that. It was one of the first Wi-Fi 6 routers, and people were saying it's one of the best. It was $200, so we bought it. We plugged in everything, and it was having issues connecting. Now, I should note too, our AX6000 from TP-Link also had issues connecting at some points. That was because of it was being overloaded, like the power strip it was going to was being overloaded with noise. So that got fixed, and that was not the problem here because it wasn't plugged into a power strip. But I didn't want to mention that. We fucking bought this shit ass router, dude. I fucking hate this thing. It wouldn't fucking ever work. The longest we got it to work for in terms of providing Wi-Fi access was 45 minutes. Before it would just start shitting the bed and I have to reset the router entirely, all the settings gone and everything, and try and reconnect again. Got to the point where it just wouldn't connect. I have recordings of all this. I don't remember all the specifics, but I can look back. So I contacted Netgear, explained the issue to them. They said, all right, could have just been from a bad batch. Return it and get another one. So that's what we did. We returned it and got a new one. Same fucking thing. So they said, all right, it could be, it could just be another fluke. I believe we returned it and got yet another one. Same thing. They're like, okay, we could have shipped an entire bad batch to that Best Buy. That could be your issue. And I'm like, all right, here's what's going to happen. I'm getting fucking fed up with your guys' shit here. And then this is not verbatim. This is not exactly what I said, but this is essentially, I'm getting really fucking fed up with buying a router and it's defective and I have to return it. Literally, like, for 2 weeks, that was what was happening. Look at our bank statements. It's just like $200 and then, or what was it? Minus $200, then plus $200. It's great. And I was like, because of how fucking atrocious this experience has been, what can you guys do about it? I honestly wanted, some type of credit or something, because I was really fucking sick of it, and I think anyone would, after 3 times in a row like that. And also, we checked the serial numbers, and at least one of the routers was from a completely different batch and had the same issues as the other two. So it wasn't like a bad batch thing, it didn't seem. It was just, they're bad. And what the person said was great. They said, here's what you should do. So go to your Best Buy, go to your local Best Buy, and he reassured me on this like 3 to 4 times. Go to your Best Buy you bought it from, return the router you got, and say that Netgear said that you could have a better router. Then go get the better router, and there you go. And I'm like, and they'll give me a discount. And he said, yeah, they'll credit to the same price. I'm like, are you sure? Yeah, can you provide me with a anything to signify that is something they can do? And he's like, oh, well, and he gave me this a whole fucking 10-minute explanation of how it was okay or some shit. So I called up Best Buy because I was very fucking confused. That took multiple hours, I think, because I think that was also the same day I got the local Best Buy's direct number because I couldn't get in contact with them easily. Called Best Buy and I'm like, hey, I have a question for you guys. So if I walk in right now and I give you, if I return this router that's broken, I say NETGEAR said I could have a better model, and I get the better model and just walk out of the store that like they suggested, am I allowed to do that? And like, yeah, no, you're shoplifting at that point. That is shoplifting. I'm like, oh, well, that's what I thought. And I'm like, is there any way they would even be able to do that? He's like, no, there's no way they'd be able to do that. They have no like direct relation to Best Buy. So I was effectively told by NETGEAR to go and commit a crime at Best Buy to get a better router. Because they couldn't vouch for their own products. They couldn't say, oh, I'm sorry for your experience, here's a credit. They essentially told me to go steal. I called NETGEAR back multiple times and explained it to them, and they tried to play it off as me mishearing them. And then at one point, I got so mad, I played the recording back through my mic multiple times so they could hear it. And they still tried to deny that they ever said something like that. But NETGEAR don't stand by their products. They'll do anything in their power to get you to exchange them for another product, for another NETGEAR product. But in regards to support and everything, we actually asked for support with them and they wouldn't really provide it. They pretty much just said to restart the router. But the most they'll do to support you is tell you to restart the router. And if you want any credit for your awful experience or anything, they'll tell you to go rob a fucking store, to rob a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Maybe not billion, but yeah, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with that. But the fact that no one would apologize on that person's behalf, or even they wouldn't transfer me to a manager or anything. They're not a good company to buy from, especially with support. I've had a great experience with TP-Link. Their software for the routers are amazing. This is a shill for TP-Link. I'm not sponsored, but I like truly, really fucking good software, really fucking good hardware, really good support. That despite their broken English, they gave me an alpha version of the software for my router to see if it fixed issues. And judging by when it was made, it looks like it was potentially made specifically to try and help with my issue. Like I can vouch for TP-Link and say they're a good company. At least in my experience. So if you're looking for a Wi-Fi 6 router, the TP-Link AX6000 works. It's really fucking good. I have nothing bad really to say about it. It's amazing.
I think I have Wi-Fi adapters.
You cut out.
I think I have one of their Wi-Fi adapters. I think I'm using it for my server, except now I have. Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I didn't comment on their Wi-Fi adapters specifically because I've actually had not a great experience with them. That's why I specified the router.
I'm not sure, but I've always had issues with Wi-Fi adapters. So
my of all things, my NETGEAR one lasted about 2 years before it started overheating itself and dying.
Yeah, my last one was overheating. I don't know if that was because it was in the back of my computer or what, but I couldn't play like more than 10 or 20 minutes of a demanding game before my computer just lost connection to all the server I was playing.
Oh, I had that same fucking shit. Yeah, same exact thing. It was awful. And that's why I don't recommend NETGEAR Wi-Fi adapters because they're not great. But we bought this TP-Link one and my brother's using it, but every now and then it just decides to completely disconnect from the router and say, "Oh, there's no internet anywhere." There's no routers detected ever.
But...
and it has that issue. And
Epic, are you sniffing your mic right now?
No.
You're really close to your mic.
Yeah, I'm saying
not.
you're really close, or you're really loud at least.
I don't know. But we got a bit off topic, but that was just my quick PSA. Don't fucking buy. If you're looking for a Wi-Fi 6E router, I don't know. I don't know if TP-Link's revealed anything. But 6 gigahertz to me doesn't look worth it. I mean, unless you're like an enthusiast and you have like a multi-gig connection, it doesn't seem like it's that big a deal. Especially because it's not going to be able to reach as far. I mean, if 5 gigahertz already has trouble like reaching the basement of my house. If I got 6 gigahertz, why the fuck would I do that? It's going to be worse. Mesh networks are objectively worse than just having one router. There are many videos and tests on that. So that's out of the question. That wouldn't make sense. At least for the time being. I don't know. Mesh networks could get better. And then setting up Wi-Fi repeaters also can degrade performance. So I don't know. I don't see the appeal here. But if you're looking for a Wi-Fi 6 router, more importantly, a high-end router that's dependable, that is now like sometimes actually like 50% off or 40% off, so it's like $200 or some shit. The TP-Link AX6000. It looks like a fucking upside down spider. It's really good. I can recommend it. But yeah, just a quick PSA. Don't buy NETGEAR routers. You're probably going to want to buy their modems because their modems are decent. And they're some of the best in the market. But their routers are ass. And always know when you buy from NETGEAR, they don't stand behind their product. They will suggest everything to get around crediting you or trying to help you. Including telling you to exchange it 3 times over and then asking you to rob a store. So yeah, would not recommend NETGEAR for routers. We'll move on here now to a boring subject. The Nvidia keynote from yesterday. Which Gamers Next has called on Twitter the most boring keynote they've ever seen. Me and Rob watched this. I'm not sure how much Rob caught of it, but I watched all of it.
I hopped on and just watched the entire thing when you told me it was on.
They did a 24-hour pre-stream for this, like, a 24-hour countdown. Rob, I'll let you talk about the start of it real quick. I'm gonna take a drink of water, but I'll let you talk.
Yeah, like hold on. I can barely remember the start. But,
it's fine. I got it. So, Nvidia started out. God, I can barely remember the start specifically too. Nvidia started out this amazingly bad keynote by talking about how great RTX is, essentially like blowing themselves with how amazing RTX is now. So many games have it now.
They also released DLSS, I think it is.
Well, DLSS 2 has been out in some games for a bit, but they announced
they were just flexing that.
They announced some new games are getting DLSS 2, and then some games are getting RTX. Which, I kind of expect, in a way, I expect that every Nvidia keynote at this point until RTX is no longer the main branding, because, like, what the fuck else are they gonna reveal? But people wanted 2 things, it seemed, from this keynote. They wanted Nvidia to, at the very least, acknowledge the issues with stock, because every card's been out of stock for, like, the past year, pretty much.
Yeah, we were on Twitch, and literally every, other chat member, every other chat message was just out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. It was literally like a chant. The chat
was going a million miles an hour, and it was very hard to find a message that wasn't a form of saying out of stock. Every now and then, chat would change for a sec when they said something, when Nvidia said something stupid or bad.
Whenever they said Fortnite, it was just Fortnite.
Yeah, it was Fortnite for a second. When they showed off the Fist game, which is a game about a rabbit with a robot fist. There were a couple comments I saw. I saw like fucking Cyborg, Furry, and Big Chungus, which were all amazing to see. That when they revealed a Five Nights at Freddy's RTX game, of course, all the chat fucking groaned because it's FNAF VR, or not VR, FNAF RTX. Which, to be fair, I actually thought it looked decent for a FNAF game, but they didn't show any gameplay. They just showed how it looked.
It literally just looked like a tech demo.
It did. But what they, again, people wanted a 3080 Ti, and they wanted acknowledgement of the stock issues. So what did Nvidia provide, you may ask? Well, what they provided was
laptop.
Nothing. Yeah. Nvidia announced their new RTX laptop stuff, like their new chips, which isn't really, it's expected. It was Nvidia, like who thought Nvidia wasn't going to release laptop chips? It's a completely expected move to release laptop chips, because why the fuck wouldn't they? It doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't. So yeah, they unveiled their new laptop chips. They're not very for laptop graphics, they're impressive, but that's expected. It's a generational leap.
I'm just gonna mention, I know some people who don't really have that much money, and they can only go towards laptops, and I have a feeling they're going to be really excited for this. But
the cheapest one's $1,000.
But yeah,
Oof.
I found a laptop
that's the
on.
other side.
There's this one Asus laptop on eBay I found. It's got like a 7th gen i7 or i5 and 8 gigs of RAM, and it's literally $140. Like that's the shit those people are going to be going for because that's actually worth it. It's really
Yeah.
cool. But they unveiled their laptop shit. I mean, I'm not even gonna like go into details about the specs simply because it's such an expected move that you can Google it and it's gonna be the exact performance you expect.
But let me just mention, they were trying so hard to sell these things because they were trying. It was almost like they were trying to bash down anything like, well, it's a laptop. It's like, oh, you can plug in your screen and it can play on your screen. Oh, wow, and you can connect it to your TV and like
Yeah.
Jim, what else do we need to say?
After
I
the
bet
laptop
they knew
shit.
how boring it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, they knew it was gonna be boring because they didn't have Jensen Huang do it. They had what is it? Who the fuck is? I don't even know who the fuck this guy
I
is.
know he looked like that guy from Star Trek.
He does look like Picard. He does. Holy shit, you're right. They had Picard from Star Trek, but not really revealed their shit. What is this here? His name's Jeff Fisher. They have his thing up for 5 seconds. It looks like. I'm playing it back.
Paused right there.
Jeff Fisher, Senior Vice President of Nvidia GeForce. So he's not even the CEO. It's not even Jensen Huang. They knew this was gonna be bad. The only good highlight is that they mentioned the oven. And how Jensen Huang revealed new
But
GPUs fresh out of the
if
oven.
anybody wants to know how bad this stream actually was, the big surprise was
Rob, it wasn't done. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we'll get to that. There's still a tiny bit more to cover. They revealed the RTX 3060 again. Because they already revealed it. I didn't know they did, but apparently they already did. And they just announced it again. And then this was rich. They said, it's gonna be a laptop with a laptop grade 3060 is like gonna be $1,000, and it has 1.3 times the performance of a PS5 at 4K, or sorry, at 1080p, 90 frames per second. That's such a specific like thing, a benchmark. I don't know who's gonna buy it because of that. So it's 1.3 times faster. That's not a lot. At 1080p, the PS5 can go up to like 4K 60, can it? And it doesn't sound like the 3060 can do 4K 60 very well. And then at 90 frames per second. That's great and all, but most people really want 60 hertz, 120 or 144. Most people settle for 90. It didn't seem worth it. And for $1,000, you can get a PS5 for that amount. It's like to me, it's like, do you want a console that eventually over time will be incredibly optimized and run games that will likely look better than PC ports of them because of how optimized people have to make these games for PS5, since it's going to be the next the current console gen for the next 5 years, or do you want to buy a 3060 laptop that in 3 years will be outdated? I didn't like that. I thought it was really stupid. 1.3 times the performance. Wow, that's fucking nothing. It's like selling a fucking new brand of Kleenex or tissues. And it's like, dude, these are 1.2 times as absorbent. Who fucking cares?
Down to be like,
or Trident gum. I have some gum right here. Man, this new branded Trident gum is 1.47 times as much flavor. Who fucking cares? It's not that big a deal. I didn't think it was that great. And then what Rob was saying, Rob, you can talk about their amazing. Before Rob does it, they call this a special treat at the end. Everyone in chat thought this was 3080 Ti. This was the only time in chat where I saw almost everyone not saying out of stock. People were all saying 3080 Ti, 3080 Ti. I saw someone say 2090, but 3080 Ti. But Rob, go ahead. Tell them what the special treat was.
So the special treat, the cream of the crop, whatever the hell you want to call it, was they showed a flight simulator and everything, like a plane flying and a guy landing a plane in a freaking sim rig, and that was,
Oh yeah, buy our laptop.
Yeah,
And that's
it was literally an ad for a Razer blade, like a Razer laptop. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. That's
we were both thinking it was going to be for the flight sim because it looked pretty cool. It had switches and stuff. No, it's just buying a laptop.
yeah, I thought maybe it was going to be powered by 3080 Ti, which would have been a weird segue, but you know, something. Or maybe even, I would have honestly, even if it was like they already did the 1660, so I don't know if like next they do like the 2660 or something stupid. But even if it was something like that, like an ultra, you know, an ultra budget GPU like that, and it's running Flight Sim that well, because it looked pretty good. But it was a Razer laptop running Flight Sim.
I
with
think
all
we
this
didn't
shit.
even get like a name for the flight sim.
No, Rob, it was literally Microsoft Flight Sim 2020.
No, not. I mean the sim rig. That's why.
The sim rig. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
We didn't even get a name for the sim rig.
That's not the
The fuck?
important part. The important part is that they called it a fucking treat, and it was an advertisement for a Razer laptop. I don't remember the last time I've been so disappointed in anything I've watched. You know, this takes the cake. That was by far the worst reveal of anything ever. And for comparison, this laptop was the same Razer laptop they showed off, I think, 2 other times in the same broadcast, mind you. Talk about how great it was. And they had the audacity to say their special treat is just Microsoft Flight Sim running on this fucking laptop. That's not a treat. That's an ad. The last time they had a special treat, I think was the 3090. But no, this time it's just advertising a laptop. So I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. It's not, a lot of people are saying, at least this is for the AMD one, but it applies here too. You could argue this is for investors and maybe it looks cool to investors, but I don't think investors are gonna be like, wow, you know, I'm happy with the performance of the company revealing the same laptop 3 times in 1 hour recording, pretty much. It was more like 30 minutes, but I don't know what the plan was here. I'm gonna move on before I ramble on about them unveiling a laptop 3 times, because I could go on hours about how fucking stupid it is, and I don't know why they'd ever do it.
Did they accidentally move the timer for the countdown?
No, no, they did not fucking fuck up the timer to my knowledge again. That was amazing. I don't know how they fucked that up, and I love how their timer was not like, I don't even know how they did it. It wasn't like it was just a timer overlaid over an image. It was a timer with part of the image in it. That was great. That was when they unveiled the 30 series.
I think so.
That was really funny. I don't know. It's a far cry from, I remember the 20 series keynote. I rushed home from like this new pancake place my mother took me to, and I rushed home just to watch it. And it was fucking, it was a lot of shilling as always, but it was great. And we got memes like everything just works. Everything just works. And Jensen Huang saying everything just works for an hour. It was great. And then the 30 series one, less impressive, but we got oven. I mean, we got to see Jensen Huang's oven and see him pull graphics cards out of the oven. So twice too, because they did 2 different ones, which was funny. This had none of that. This was filmed in some old fucking, it was just filmed in Picard from Star Trek's home with a 20 series and 10 series GPU in the background. While he talked about laptops and the 3060 and then laptops and then also laptops and laptops and also laptops and laptops, and we're moving on to AMD's equally boring keynote that I actually haven't watched all the way through. I watched Gamers Nexus 10-minute synopsis. According to them, it was literally like 14. They did a benchmark of AMD's keynote, and it was 14 minutes of tone deaf talking about how COVID has been so great for their business, and they've delivered a lot of computers and sold a lot of stuff because of COVID. And then another 14 minutes of apparently pretty much just like, yeah, dude, they just fucking, for lack of a better term, like, it was self-fellatio, and then also, we're just gonna fucking talk about how amazing HP
Actually,
is.
the term is autofellatio.
Autofellatio. Here's how it went, because I can't even describe it, my brain is fucking blanking. they talked to some CEO of a company, and at one point it was like an IndyCar driver, a F1 driver. But they like talked to them like, hey, how do you use AMD? And they're like, oh yeah, we love AMD. We do this and we love AMD so much. And then AMD's like, oh yeah, we love HP so much. And that was literally like 15 fucking minutes of the entire thing. Just shilling themselves. And there were many awkward points during it that Gamers Nexus pointed out too, where they made people feel awkward. And it was great. They mentioned their GPUs for, I think it was a minute. Like, they're releasing new GPUs this year, and that's all they said. They didn't say anything about them. They didn't talk anything about them, and Gamers Nexus thinks it was to avoid talking about the stock problem, which honestly is a better solution than Nvidia not talking about the stock problem. And then they talked about their new CPUs releasing.
Oh my god, they had Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, that's the guy. They were talking about their new CPUs releasing and how they're gonna have some OEM stuff. It was fucking boring. I'm gonna just skip over this topic because it's so boring. They unveiled practically nothing. In this, Gamers Nexus said in the PDF they got sent with info about like the event. They learned more from that PDF, which mind you, the PDF said more would be unveiled at the conference. They got more from the PDF than they did from the entire keynote. It was just a lot of sucking up the different companies and shit, and then them sucking up back to AMD, and not a lot happened, and that's it.
And Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, so I not impressed. I mean, it's the fact that I haven't watched it in full, but I guarantee you if I watch it in full, it'll be less memorable than Nvidia's 30-minute fuck up of let's completely dodge questions about stock and talk about laptops the whole time, and also reveal the same graphics card again. Yeah, I don't know. I'm umming a lot. There's not a lot to go off of here. I mentioned these are boring topics because they're boring topics, but we'll move on here to something really interesting. I found this just by scrolling through the tech part of Google News, and this caught my eye. It's from Rob Report. Rob, you made it. This 82-foot amphibious catamaran crawls onto the shore like a crab, and it's a fucking huge yacht that uses these like spinning cylinder things. I've seen them on Hot Wheels, like multi-terrain RC cars, to literally crawl like onto sand and actually be movable.
Oh my god. Okay.
So what you have here effectively is a form of all-terrain yacht. I really like the design. I think the design of it's really cool. The only thing I could think to complain of is with the solar panels or whatever the fuck they are on the tops of the two sides. I feel like if they designed it a bit differently, or even in the top middle, you could land a helicopter on that. That would make it better. Because at that point, you can drop down a thing that will release a car. It's already all terrain, and if you can get something that flies on that thing, then dude, you got the warship, the luxury warship. I don't know.
Apparently, I was reading, and he was planning on making a military version of a catamaran, but it just turned into this.
Yeah.
And also, one more thing, I just really want to point this out. It's called the Crabmaran.
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 Yeah, I think when I pointed out this article, I just said robot crab or crab boat or some shit.
Huge crab, robo crab.
Huge crab rowboat. Wait, did I say rowboat or robot?
Robo crab.
Huge robo crab. I think it's really cool.
I just gotta mention, I find it like extremely impressive because the fact that like I believe a Metal Gear in the series Metal Gear Solid had this type of freaking movement.
Yeah. It's the only thing I was wishing for on this, and this is literally just memes because I thought it would look like this. I thought it was gonna have like small little wheels drop down, like like 26 wheels per side or some shit.
It was like little legs, like.
Yeah, I originally thought that. I'm like, there's no way they're gonna do that. It looks cool. This is just a render of it though. These are renders. And you can tell by some of the images they're kind of low quality renders.
Oh yeah, the one at the very top, the water in the background is all the same.
Well, but more importantly, look at the waves. They're like 12. Yeah. They're like 12 tries.
12 probably.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that. Like, you can do better water simulation than that, dude. But it's cool. I hope at least one of these is actually produced. Because it'd be cool to see it actually get produced. Though part of me makes, I kind of worry, if I'm honest, about how much space there is overall. Because it looks like, it has a ton, but I do wonder. And more importantly, how safe is this thing? Like, if this looks like if it touches something, one side's gonna flood, and then that's it. The boat's gonna capsize.
Yeah.
But what I mean by the space is, it looks like the Tesla drops down from the middle, and from most of the photos, the middle doesn't look that big. So I wonder, how much is there? Just a cockpit, and then a giant car, and then you just walk downstairs and you have the 2 rooms on the left and right, or what? And judging by the photo they've shown of it with the wheels, it doesn't look to be that deep. So it's likely only 1 or 2 rooms per side. You could probably cram more in. I don't know. Looks cool. I kind of hope it sees the light of day. I'd love to, if it ever does, I'd love to like be a passenger on it at some point, or like just check it out. But yeah.
I'm hoping normal boats adapt to this.
Yeah, I doubt it. Can you imagine this is a fishing boat? Like you sitting on your fucking solar panels off the side, just fishing.
Open it up. Open up the bottom and close it again. Scoop up a whole bunch of fish.
Yeah, you fucking like go crabbing. Literally go crabbing. Just put it like a crab net. Put the bottom into the water and then bring it back up.
I'm thinking cartels might make use of this too, because you could just like run from the border, the freaking Coast Guard, and then just go onto the coast.
I don't think it'll go very far on land.
Yeah. Can you imagine if the cartel buys this probably it's gonna be like $2 to $5 million boat or some shit. $30 million boat. 30 million.
That's more like it.
Like, we're the fucking cartel. Let's spend $30 million stealthily and buy. I don't know. It's cool.
It's perfect for smuggling. You just drive over, drop the thing, and
it is.
Shove off all that crap.
Yeah, it'd probably take them about 200 years to pay back the debt from buying it, but yeah.
Then steal it. You're already breaking the law.
This would be like some fucking GTA heist shit, stealing something like that. There's likely only gonna be like 5 made.
This is be one of the new mission vehicles, like the Avenger, the Crab Moran.
That would not surprise me. It would not surprise me if this makes its way to GTA. Or something like this.
It's gonna have nuclear missiles though.
Oh yeah, like those 2 little hatches there on the solar panels are gonna like house 12 missiles or some shit. Move on here to one that, I mean, I don't think anyone else covered this or is going to, but this is literally just because I care about Neat mics, Neat microphones, and I have one. I'm talking to one right now. Turtle Beach bought Neat microphones. This is from Turtle Beach's corporation website. And that's pretty much the gist of the story. Apparently, Neat mics are actually going to release new microphones in 2021, which I think is the first time in many years they've released a new fucking product. But for reference, Neat microphones started under Gibson brands, which is related to Gibson, the guitar company. I think we're going bankrupt, or we're about to go bankrupt, and they sold off a bunch of businesses. And Neat mics, it doesn't look like was ever sold, but rather they just let them go independent. And the creators ran it independent for about a year with nothing happening. The only way you could tell they were alive is they updated the website like once. And then also fucking their Instagram is constantly updated with promotions of themselves and showing photos of people using their mics. That's the only way you could tell they were alive, but that's not a lot. I'm curious. I've never owned a Turtle Beach headset. I know Zaire has, but has anyone here owned a Turtle Beach headset?
Nope.
My brother did.
Are they any good?
I'm not sure.
Because I know people seem to have
use it anymore. So.
People seem to have fond memories of Turtle Beach stuff. Like people I've talked to who had them. And I've never understood the appeal, because aren't they just like $30 headsets you can find in almost everywhere? And
what I think of Turtle Beach is like the freaking headphones on the wall in GameStop.
Yeah. I get the same vibe from Turtle Beach as I do those companies that make like the gaming headphones, and they're $5. And they have like shitty blue LEDs in them. And maybe Turtle Beach are better than that. But I know a Raven, my person I used to talk to. He broke his Turtle Beaches by just pulling them off his head or something. Like they've ripped in half. Like they just split in half because like the plastic bent. So I don't know. I'm curious to know about the quality. It seems like going forward, Neat Mics may be a bit more independent, or may still be just as independent, but I kind of doubt it if they're being bought up by Turtle Beach. But I could be wrong about Turtle Beach. I've never used their products. Turtle Beach, if you like to send us products to try, feel free, because honestly, I don't want to go buy your stuff because I'm afraid it's shit quality. But I'm interested. I'm interested to see what comes of Neat Mics, because if they're gonna release new products, hopefully they're good. There's people in the comment section of their post announcing it theorizing that they're now just gonna make like shit quality mics. But then again, they were founded by the people who founded Blue Microphones. So my Neat Bcaster, it's got its quirks, but it's a good mic. So it'd take a lot for them to fall. Most companies do want to, right now, like they're enthusiasts. People call them an enthusiast grade company, and most companies normally do like when they get a lot of enthusiast type, they do like to pivot to everyone instead of just enthusiasts, which I understand from a business perspective, but they haven't released a product in so long that I really hope they don't try and go for that first. They need to prove that they're still enthusiasts before they try and go mainstream. And more importantly, they need to prove that they can make a microphone that's still good. Because like I said, with the Bcaster having its quirks, there's really poor soldering on like the main board, which is also the entire base like that the mic sits on. There's some really poor soldering I noticed when I opened mine up. And really lazy wiring. So they need to prove that they can make a good mic still, and that they can improve. But I do want to see what comes of it. But yeah, that's a smaller story. But I'm interested in Neat Mics. Move on here to Lucasfilm Games. New partnerships mean the galaxy's the limit. It's from Wired. We already talked about Lucasfilm Games, but essentially what this one talks about is Ubisoft has a new project, a new Star Wars project, in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games. I really want to call them LucasArts, and I know that's not their name. But what this means is EA's contract with Disney that runs out in, I think, 2 years, is not getting renewed. Meaning, it looks like EA will still be able to make Star Wars games if they talk with Disney, but they don't have exclusivity rights. Ubisoft's game, that also means, I think, is 2 years out. But it's really fucking cool to see that Disney, although it took them a while, did listen to all the public outcry to fucking get Star Wars away from EA. I think we talked about before how EA, in a way, deserve a chance to redeem themselves, but this is even better than that. This is just, fuck EA. You don't get the exclusive rights anymore, and I'm happy to see it. I want to see Ubisoft's take on Star Wars. I hope it's not Far Cry and fucking climb the ladder, get to the objective, but I'm excited for it. What do you guys think? Especially you, Mel, because you're a Star Wars fan.
So when it comes to Star Wars content in 2021, I was okay with Star Wars Fallen Jedi or Fallen Order. That one was really fun. I like the story in that, but I mean, I like prequel content to begin with. Battlefront 2, I got that for $4, so I can't say I hated it because I got it for $4. I mean, I still play it, but yeah, I'm glad that I'd like to see what Ubisoft gives in terms of Star Wars content. I just want to see more like story driven stuff. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, didn't EA cancel 1313 because they didn't believe in single player story driven content?
Yeah, that is the sole reason. Yeah, and that would have been like the rated M game too. So that's also why they didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that's the type of shit. Although 1313 probably is dead. I would like to see something like that from Ubisoft, and it's an open world game, so it's possible. I don't know. I'm hoping good comes from it, and definitely not bad. But it doesn't seem like much bad will come from not having EA exclusivity. It seems like that can only be a good thing. So Hopefully good comes from it. I'm hoping Ubisoft's game's good. I'm rooting for them. It'd be also cool if they do an indie studio, like if they'd work with an indie studio on a Star Wars game and give them a chance. Just kind of like how Rocksteady got, they got their big shot with Batman Arkham Asylum, and it was a huge success. Like, they were a small studio before that. They proved that they could make a really good game, and I bet there are tons of other studios that could do that too. So I'd love to see that. Yeah, I think that's our last topic. Because I had 3 other tabs open here. I'm like, yeah, we have 3 other topics, and they're literally just schoolwork. I didn't realize that. That looks to be our last topic for today. Sorry it was so boring for like 30 minutes of talking about Nvidia and AMD.
Blame Nvidia, yeah.
Yeah, I wish they had an interesting keynote. I really wish they had an interesting keynote, but they didn't, because it wasn't interesting at all. So here's to hoping that GPU stock does increase and they become in stock. Same with CPUs, because apparently AMD's 5000 series are already out of stock. But yeah, the only thing on my mind right now actually is literally that my VR headset comes tomorrow. And I'm like, I have a bunch of shit in my room I have to clean up to make room for VR, because otherwise I have no room for it. Yeah, PogChamp.
Nice.
It was supposed to come the 19th, but now it's coming tomorrow apparently. Although that's the UPS saying that. And you guys know I don't trust UPS because they fucked up every package they've delivered to me. So I'm kind of weary.
We covered that in the Christmas episode, right?
I think we did, yeah.
Are you
Kind of
talking
weary.
about USPS or UPS?
No, UPS.
All right, ups.
Yeah. So we didn't cover that. We talked about USPS. I'm kind of weary of UPS because they've fucked up, I think, if I remember correctly, every single order I've made with them, which is not many. I think it's like 5 or 6. The thing always comes somewhat damaged. Like the box comes destroyed. Because they literally, it looks like they just threw it against 2 brick walls before they put it in the truck. Shit like that. I don't know. I think I got one time covered, like, or it was like vaguely covered in mud. I don't understand what goes on at a UPS, and I don't want to know. I'm not, so I don't know. I'm skeptical, but I'm hoping it comes tomorrow. But I got shit to do for that.
That must be like an American thing, because every time I ordered something from Amazon, most of the time it comes by UPS, and it's like the packages are like fine.
It might just be a US thing, and it might even just be a local thing.
UPS has a grudge against everyone, apparently. So that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. When I can, I buy from FedEx, but this was from Newegg on eBay, because Newegg have an eBay account and they sell things on eBay that they don't on their own website for some reason.
FedEx
and
give it to you.
Newegg pretty much only use UPS to my knowledge. Every now and then there's something from FedEx from them, but they really only use like UPS. So yeah, but that's all we got. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we have a more interesting episode next week that is not about Nvidia not announcing anything and then AMD not announcing anything. And
I hope Nvidia pulls another one of them messing up the timers.
Yeah, I want to see that again.
We'll just talk about that for 20 minutes. Yeah.
It's funny because Nvidia fucking up the countdown timer was more interesting than their entire 30-minute keynote. And it was a fuck up that happened like last year, and it's more interesting than their keynote. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.